Thank you for tuning in to my Altra Vanish Carbon 2.
Shaking the case of your heart, washing your face of the blood. I didn't know you act tough.
Thank you for tuning in to another very adequate review. Today I will be reviewing the Altra Vanish Carbon 2. It is their super shoe for road running, road racing, definitely distance running. It has a 36 millimeter stack height. It still has their 0 millimeter drop heel to toe. It is considered a slim fit shoe by Altra standards. And it has in the midsole the Altra Ego Pro foam. I also have the Vanish Carbon 1.0, which is was also their previous super shoe. The Vanish Carbon 1.0 had a half a carbon plate. The 2.0 has a full carbon plate, and in fact you can kind of see the carbon plate here. It is a super squishy shoe. It is very soft, very squishy, very comfortable, high energy return. I am not a super shoe connoisseur, so I had the first one. I got it on sale. I was crazy, kind of impressed by oh wow, that's a lot of energy return when I'm running. It definitely rewards a high cadence. It rewards fast foot turnover. You want to be receiving and putting that energy back into the road and maintaining that high cadence. I decided to try to get the Altra Vanish Carbon 2s because I enjoyed the first ones, but I wanted to see, what's a full carbon plate feel like and what kind of improvements can be made. The Vanish Carbon 1s definitely were a little more tight in the toe box. Even though the Vanish Carbon 2 is considered a slim fit shoe, it felt pretty comfortable to me when immediately putting it on. So I think if you enjoy Altra shoes, I went my normal size, 9.5. It weighs 216 grams. The Vanish Carbon 1 was 223 grams. And you can definitely see it's not as squishy. The Vanish Carbon 1, it's still pretty squishy. When you compare it to the Escalante 3s, these are Escalante 3s. It's definitely more squishy than that, but man, the Vanish Carbon 2s are incredibly squishy. In fact, when I first put them on and walked down the stairs of my house, it felt like I was wearing what I would think walking on the moon boots. They were so squishy, and you definitely would not want to do any sort of squats in these. It is a running shoe. It is not a gym shoe. It is not a obstacle course shoe. It is a purely running shoe. Not really cutting left and right in it. Obviously you can, but it's not something I would recommend. So going into the review, obviously I love how light they are. You can see how airy it is. You should be able to see my fingers. Yeah, you can see my fingers in the toe box. So it's incredibly light material. It almost looks like a screen that you'll put on a window or on your screen porch. The tongue is incredibly thin, and then it has this nice little grip for your heel to prevent heel slippage. No gator connect. Obviously most people don't wear gaiters on road running. It's more of a trail thing. And like I said, it only has one colorway, and it's got the Ego Pro midsole. The outsole gave me good road connection. It is modified from the first one, so there's the Altra 1, Vanish Carbon 1, and then the Altra Vanish Carbon 2. My complaint with the Vanish Carbon 2 are these little slits where you can see the carbon plate through here. I've actually had gravel get stuck in there during road running. So if you're ever running in these and you're like, 4-foot strike's feeling a little weird, you might have to take a second and make sure a rock did not get stuck in here. I've had that happen 2 times. So that would be one of the negatives, and I'll circle back to that when I'm going to negatives. The positives, I like the fit, I like the energy return, I like how fast I feel. My foot contact, according to my Garmin watch, about 49.9 to 50.1 right versus left foot. So very good road running there. I'm splicing in some video of me doing, again, my rare road running, but I'm running 4 minutes on hard, 3 minutes jog. I prefer trail running, but I will do about 2 to 3 road races a year just because they're local and more common, especially in the summer, than trail races. The performance, they are extremely bouncy. Again, if you can maintain a good high cadence, you will get a lot of energy return. They're extremely comfortable. They will definitely help your feet stay light. You will not feel fatigued in your feet. Stability, they're a neutral shoe per Altra. I felt fine in them running straight. Again, I would not want to do zigzags in them just because they're so cushiony. But if you're talking just running down the road, they're great. The value, they're very expensive. They go upwards of $260. So you just want to pull them out for racing. I would not want to train in these. I suspect, this is pretty thin, the outsole. I suspect that would wear down after multiple miles. I probably have about 15 miles in these now. And I don't see any wear and tear on mine yet, but I suspect if I was, somebody who ran 50 plus miles a week, these probably would need to be replaced somewhat often. So these would be my race day shoes, not a trainer shoe, maybe some speed days, something like that. I love the fit of them. They're super comfortable. I was surprised because they are supposedly on the slim platform. They were more comfortable than the Vanish Carbon ones. They do feel goofy walking downstairs just because they're so cushioned. I'm barely applying any pressure there, and it's very squishy midsole. And they're just a really good shoe. Now, going into the negatives about them, like I said, I'd circle back. This is the big negative standout. These 3 slits here. I guess they wanted to show the carbon plate. There's probably some marketing aspect to that. There's probably just the desire to say like, hey, look at my carbon plate. But the negative is I've legit had 2 gravel pebbles on 2 different occasions get stuck in there. Never happened on the Vanish Carbon ones because there's no real place for a rock to get stuck in here. And doesn't really happen on my Escalante 3s either. So that would be the negative. The other negative is on my left shoe, I did wear no-show socks. And because of that, I did get a little rubbing on the back of my heel. So I would definitely recommend crew socks. This just kind of rubbed on it right around here. Not this pink ankle grip, but whatever above it rubbed me to the point where I was bleeding on my left foot. So I would, since then I've worn crew socks and the issues never happened again. So just don't wear no-shows. I usually do wear no-shows, so that's a bit of a change for me there. That issue did not happen in the Vanish Carbon ones. Obviously just something going on there. Probably could play around with lacing them a little differently, but again, I don't run in them enough to do that. Right here, there's a little protection here. So if you're kicking, stubbing something, you'll be somewhat protected. Obviously it's nothing like a trail shoe. The only other negative is it's only got the 1 colorway. So overall, if you like this colorway, it's good. I've read online a lot of people are not fans of the colorway. I'm kind of meh on it. It's definitely not my favorite colorway, but it works. It gets the job done. And if you're an Altra fan, you can easily see and look down and say, yep, that person's wearing the Vanish Carbons. And you see a little Vanish Carbon 2 up there on the tongue. So overall, it's a very comfortable shoe, very good looking in that the overall design, colorway is a different preference, but the design, the material, the branding, all looks good. Showing off the carbon plate, again, it's cool, but it has the consequences of getting the gravel stuck in there. The heel, obviously with the zero drop, you're not heel striking often, but it does have a rounded heel. I mean, it's so cushiony. But you can see very little heel wear. The only heel wear you should really have is when you forefoot kiss and then pull up and run, or you'll have it when you're walking in them, obviously. Overall, the price is the biggest issue. $260 for a pair of shoes for myself, probably overkill. I'm gonna run a 5-miler in them. I might do our local 10-miler, and maybe I'll do one other race that's somewhere between 1 and 5 miles in them. So definitely overkill for me. If you're in the marathons, half marathons, definitely would recommend them. Going to be a great shoe to PR in. High energy return, you immediately notice it. When you put them on, you're like, whoa, these things are bouncy. And like I said, it felt weird walking down the stairs the first time in them because I'm just not used to these super shoes. And they do go on sale sometimes, so just keep an eye out for that. With Altras, you know, they have the various US holiday sales, so they might go on sale there. Overall, again, if you're a racer or you want a PR, definitely recommend it. A lot of websites claim and research that a carbon plated shoe can increase your speed by 4%. 4% over the course of a mile, who cares? Over the course of 5 miles, meh. 10 miles, okay. Half marathon, marathon, anything longer, like that's a pretty big deal. So that's something to consider. Keep that in mind, that if you're running correctly, you feel comfortable with your form and you're getting that energy return, you could see a 4% increase in your race performance, which is obviously, if that's all it takes is, hey, I'm gonna put on a pair of shoes, I'm gonna be 4% faster, you've immediately PR'd. That is something you might find attractive and might make it worth the money to get these. Overall, again, if you enjoy Altra, you wanna try that carbon plated shoe, I definitely recommend them. They are expensive. The Vanish Carbon 2s, in my opinion, are better than the Vanish Carbon 1s. They're lighter, have more energy return, have a full carbon plate, and are more comfortable. Having said that, they do have the one negative of the gravel, and they are more expensive. So that's something to keep in mind. Outside of that, it's just personal preference. I have not tried the Escalante 4.0 racers. That could be an option, but they do not have carbon plates, so you don't get the 4% increase. With the Escalante 4.0 racer, you get a lighter shoe, which obviously should hopefully transfer into making you faster, but the carbon plate almost guarantees you to be faster. So just keep that in mind. Again, highly recommend them for those doing distance racing, road running, and I think you'll find that these are an enjoyable shoe. Thank you.